Hey guys, RetroRicki here, bringing you a new video series I want to start doing. Lately, I've been going to GameStop and other game stores. Right now, more GameStop because they're clearancing out all their PSP, PS2, and some of the older DS games. So lately, I've been buying a lot of PSP stuff. This video is for this week. I spent around $40. Got about 13, 14 games for $40, which is not bad at all. Now these games range from under $1 to $5. And so I've been gradually building up my PSP collection. I'm been a little strict on the PSP. I want the box with the instructions. The UMD disc doesn't have to be perfect, just the disc itself, because I found online you can actually buy the outer casings of the UMD. You can buy these plastic cases if one looks scratched there. You just want to make sure that the disc itself in there isn't all scratched up. So far I haven't had any problems, but I look at the games, they have it sealed, but I get them to open it and I look at it while I'm there and try to make sure the directions are in there. And then with the DS games, you know how that goes there. They only sell them, they throw away the cases, so those, whenever I buy a title, I go onto eBay and see if somebody's selling the box with instructions, so that way I can make them complete. So this is the first video of this series I'm going to do, and it's basically me just picking, showing what I picked up for that week or the month or whatever. Whenever I get a bunch of them, then I'll do a video. So the first game's for the PSP. This is called Neverland Card Battles. The UMD looks in really good shape. It does have the instruction booklet with it. What I'll do is later in the video I'll do pictures of each of the games in the back, and I'll add that to the video. This here is a card game RPG. It looked pretty interesting, and plus I think it was only like $2, so that right there was a big thing that I jumped on the deal when I seen that. So that was a pretty good deal. Next I picked up Chameleon, and the UMD looked in really good shape. And it had the instruction booklet with it. This here is a puzzle game. A lot of these are puzzle games. The puzzle games go for really cheap. And this game is kind of like if you've ever played the Japanese game Go, which in that game, that's how Atari got their name, was from that game. And this game here is like Go, but instead of only having black and white colors, you actually have a assortment of colors, and you try to take over as much of the board that you possibly can. And there's a bunch of different modes of play, and it's pretty fun. I played it. I put it in and played it, and I really enjoyed it. Now, what I do is whenever I buy the game, my PSP is, it has its own firmware. It has the special firmware on it. So what I personally do is whenever I buy the game, I put the UMD in, move it to the SD card. Because what I do is I have a Expander Pro card, and you can actually put two micro SD cards in there. So it has a total of 64 gig of space on that one card, and it's cheaper to do it that way. And then so I don't have to carry around these UMDs with me everywhere. And I'm not a pirater, so I don't like to pirate the games. So what I do is I rip this onto the memory card So that way I don't have to carry around all these games all the time. And I'll do a video sometime, I think, on how you can put your own firmware on it. What I want to do is there's also an app you can get where it will, so you can record your screen. And I'm trying to work on that because I really would like to put some gameplay up there of the PSP without getting it modded. There's software you can use that will let you copy the video, so I'm still working on that. Next game I picked up was N+. And it's you're a ninja and you go through these obstacles of picking up these gems. The UMD, looked amazing, looked fine, and it came with the instructions. And never played this game. Everybody kept telling me that it's a good game, so now I finally have it in my collection. I'll try it out. Next, I got Bust-A-Move Deluxe. I love the Bust-A-Move games. And to find it for cheap, I think this was like $2. I couldn't let that go. I had to buy it. And the disc looks pretty good. A little bit of scuffs, but it's playable. And it has the instruction booklet, so that was nice to put that in my collection. Next was a game that I really wanted to play, and I just never had a chance to buy it because it was always like too much, or and then I forgot about it. But that's Lumines. I think I'm saying that right. And that's like a music puzzle game. The UMD looks really good, and it comes with the instruction booklet. So it looks in pretty good shape. So I picked that up. And then right beside that one, I found Lumines 2. And I guess they got new artist music in there. The disc looked perfect. Instruction manual, warranty cards. It looked in really good shape. So that was Lumines 2. And next I picked up, I'm a big golfer, game player. I really love playing the golf games on the systems. So I decided to pick up Tiger Woods. And this is the 08 edition. I think this is the last one they might have put on the system. I'm not sure. I got to do some research and see. But it was the only one that they had, and it was like 98 cents, so I couldn't give it up. Now, I didn't have the book with it, but it's a sports title. You don't really need the book. And the disc looked in really good condition, so I decided to pick up the Tiger Woods. And then another game I picked up, Puzzle Guzzle, which just the name it just sounded weird. But it's a puzzle game. I like my puzzle games. And this is one of those type that's, easy to pick up and play. It's pretty interesting. It's not too bad. The desk looked like brand new. So I guess the person that had it, before didn't even, might have put it in one time and just never played it afterwards. So that's a pretty game. I think this is only like $1. And then next I found Every Extend Extra. This is from the makers of Lumines. And this game kind of reminded me of Rez. If you ever played Rez, and I haven't played this yet, but just looking at the back of it, I played Rez like when it was on the Dreamcast, I believe the Dreamcast and the PS2, which it was hard to find back in the day. And the disc looked in perfect condition, and this was literally like 89 cents or something like that. So I couldn't pass it up. These music games, they usually go for a good bit after they, become retro because everybody starts looking for them. So we'll see, but it looked pretty interesting. And then next I found a game called Kingdom of Paradise. And this is like a fighting RPG based game. And it looked pretty interesting. And I'll have to try it out. The disc looked pretty clean. And it came with the instruction book. It actually has 2 instructions. One's in like French, Spanish, and the other one's in English. So that was pretty interesting. And it was like $1. So I couldn't pass that up. I had to get that. And then for the last PSP game I got, I only bought it because it was $1. Is the official World Series of Poker Play the Pros. You know, I'm not much of a poker person, but for $1, you know, I might as well pick it up and put it in my collection. Because I want to try to get every PSP game if I can. Excuse me. And it was in pretty good shape. It had the box, you know, the case and the instructions. That was pretty good. So the next, I've been looking in the DS section because I've been trying to get my DS collection built up too. The only thing, like I said, sucks is GameStop doesn't keep the boxes, so you can only usually find, you know, them out of the box. One of the games I picked up was a game called Lock's Quest. Now this game was previewed on another video show that I like to watch. His name's Metal Jesus Rocks, and he does a really good retro show, and he's with All Gen Gamers, which are a bunch of guys that get together and do a podcast together. They're a pretty good show. He mentioned this in his video, you know, as being a game that you should try to get and try to play. So I found it today for like $3. So I was like, oh, I gotta pick that up. As I was flipping through those, I also came across for, I think this was like $2, Beautiful Joe. And that's the DS version. I love the GameCube version when it first came out. I mean, it was amazing. So I'm anxious to see how that is on the DS. Next up, I bought a game called Metroid Prime Pinball. Now, this game, everybody's been talking about it. You know, I went online to try to find it, and it was pretty up there in price. I found it today at GameStop for $3 in that little bin that they have. And like I said, it doesn't come with the case or anything, but the value's going up on this, and it's supposed to be a really excellent Metroid pinball game. I mean, the pinball game itself is supposed to be really good, so I'm anxious to try that out. So far that's what I got in the last like 2 days, and like I said, I want to start building up my collection on the PSP. So, you know, once I get a bunch more gathered up, I'll do another video on, you know, on my pickups and everything else that I've, you know, picked up as I'm looking around for classics. So that about do it, and you guys have a good day, and until next time.